Hey everyone, today we'll be discussing how to file your VAT return. If you're a business owner, CFO, or running your own startup, you need to know how to file your return. Today we'll be discussing a step-by-step guide on how to go about this process. Hey everyone, before we move ahead, please click on the subscribe button to stay updated on our weekly business and finance related content, which is incredibly useful for business owners, CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, and those who aspire to be one. Now let's get back to the video. You need to make sure that you file for your return correctly so that you avoid for penalties due to errors in your return. You also have the opportunity to claim back the input VAT and correctly reduce your VAT payment. And finally, it's very important that you're compliant with the UAE tax laws. To file your VAT return, you will have to first log in to your VAT portal. Now let me guide you through how it would look in the system. This is what your online portal will look like. You would have to first click on the VAT. You would then click on New VAT Return. So in the first sections, you would find some information about your company and also information about your VAT return. After that, you would see that the VAT return is basically divided into two main sections: the VAT on sales and other outputs, and VAT on expenses and other inputs. The VAT on sales and other outputs is basically with respect to all the sales that you had for the period and how much tax output you have collected from your customers. So this is with respect to all the payable figures to the FTA. Then on VAT expenses and all other inputs, it's the other way around, where you would mention all the expense details and all the input VAT details which you would need to collect back from the FTA. So now let's get into box 1A to box 1G. You'll be able to see that in box 1A to box 1G that you would see standard rated supplies in each emirate. Here you would also see the columns for amount, VAT and adjustments. Here you will mention all the standard rated 5% sales that you have made. So in the amount section, you would mention the sale amount. In the VAT section, you would mention how much was the respective VAT. And in the adjustment section, you would only mention how much was the bad debt relief you have had for bad debts on previous sales that you have already paid VAT for, or on any commercial property that you have sold. Please note that the adjustments column is all in negative. So whatever number you enter there will reduce your VAT payable. Also note that you would have to divide your sales and VAT on the basis of each emirate, and this needs to be divided on the basis of the fixed establishment that is closely related to that sale. We have already discussed the concept of fixed establishment in a couple of our older videos. You can go back and check our other videos to understand how that works. If you scroll down, you will see box number 2, which is for tax refunds provided to tourists under the tax refund for tourist scheme. This is only applicable to businesses that have been enrolled for this scheme. If your business has not enrolled for this scheme, make sure to just leave that blank. If you have, you need to mention here how much refund you have provided to tourists, and please note, number mentioned here is a negative number. This will reduce your tax payable. If you scroll down, you will see box number 3, which is supply subject to the reverse charge provision. Here you would need to disclose the import of services from other countries, import of goods that have not been declared in the customs, and also certain types of supplies in the oil and gas sector. So you would mention the supply amount or the import amount in this column, and you would have to mention the respective VAT amount here, which is obviously the 5% of this figure. Then we go to box 4 and box 5. Here you would mention the remaining sales in your business. You would have to obviously divide it on the basis of your zero-rated sales and your exempt sales. Please note, your out-of-scope sales will not be disclosed here. Out-of-scope sales are not something that comes under the scope of VAT and therefore is not disclosed in your VAT return. If you scroll down, you would see in box 6, the goods imported into UAE. All your imports which you have imported through the customs will be pre-populated in this box. If you want to see the detailed breakup of this section, feel free to click on the View Details button. Next we go to box 7, which is adjustments to goods which have been imported into the UAE. Here you would mention only adjustments which you want to make to box 6, which is, for example, maybe certain imports which you have done through the customs did not get pre-populated for some reason. So it's your responsibility to make sure that you add this number here. You would have to disclose the import figure and the respective VAT amount as well. Then you can see that the totals have already been pre-populated for you in box 8. This is the totals for the section on VAT on sales and all other output VAT. Once you scroll down, we have to now enter the figures in VAT on expenses and all other inputs. So in box 9, you would have to get into standard rated expenses. Here you would simply enter the recoverable expense amount and the corresponding VAT for it. Make sure not to include the input VAT that is not recoverable. When in doubt, it's always better to claim less and avoid the risk of penalties and voluntary disclosure in the future. If you scroll lower, you can see box 10, which is supply subject to the reverse charge provisions. Here you have the option to recover all the output VAT you have disclosed in box 3, 6 and 7. Make sure to include only those that are recoverable for your business. The amount mentioned here cannot be greater than the total in box 3, 6 and 7. If you scroll a little lower, you can get into box 12 to box 15. You can see that the boxes will get calculated automatically. It will show you how much you need to pay to the FTA or claim back. In the case of a refund, box 15 will automatically appear asking you to request for a refund. If you scroll a little bit lower, you will see additional reporting requirements under which you would find the profit margin scheme. This is only applicable for businesses that are involved with this scheme, which is quite rare. This scheme is mostly for businesses that are involved with sale of second-hand products or collectible items. If you scroll a bit lower, you'll see the details of the authorized signatory, and you will be able to enter the email address at which you want to be contacted at for this VAT return. Once that is entered, click on the I declare checkbox once you're sure that all the figures you have entered is true, accurate and complete. And once that's done, all you have to do is click on the submit button and that's it. You've filed your VAT return. I hope this video was useful for you to understand how you can file your VAT return easily. Hey everyone, you've reached the end of this video. Thank you all for listening. If you like this content, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. If you'd like for us to talk about any specific topics, please do let us know in the comments below. Hope to see you in the next video.